Asbestos is a known carcinogen, and there's no safe level of exposure.
Mesothelioma is a miserable disease.
They must fight a truly global battle.
We want to demonstrate our enormous respect.
Keep up the good work. I look forward to the day when ADAO is no longer needed.
Fix it. Fix it. Everything in the world can be fixed.
This conference weekend doesn't take, it takes a lot to make it happen. We have two amazing partners that we have worked with for a year to partner for prevention. And I'd like Christine and Brent to stand so that the people who weren't here today and are just for dinner can say thank you with a round of applause. Christine and Brent. True to form, Christine is shopping and talking on the far right side and doesn't know we have a dinner going. Christine? Christine? Yeah. Wait, you just... She's nothing less than fabulous from the UK and Brent's from the US, so we thank our partners for prevention. Most of all, our sponsorships enable us to bring some of our speakers in and also pay for the videotaping, which I think for many of you, you reference our asbestos video library, which people around the world can then access the content from this conference as well as previous conferences. So I would like our platinum sponsors, Simmons and Barron and Budd, to please stand so we can all thank you. And we also have Motley Rice, but I haven't seen James walk in tonight. James, are you here? No. But we want to thank Motley Rice as well. And then we have two silver sponsors. We have Jim Early's firm, and I believe Annette is here. Annette, are you there? So thank you, Annette. And then we also have LPK, but I know there isn't anyone from their firm, but we definitely thank our sponsors. And then there's some individuals here who have lost loved ones or feel committed to the fight and generously make individual donations. And I'd like those individuals to stand up. It's Deborah, Jill, Lisa, Jill Cagle. Yeah, Lisa, that's you. And Julie. Where's Julie? Well, the speakers were amazing. And if you could only see this list up close on the screen, it would be great. But in your program, you can actually make out the names. And we had Matt Peacock from Australia. We have Barbara McQueen tomorrow, who's speaking. And just a sense of leadership in our public health community that's really unmatched. This committee slide is also in your programs. And I want every ADAO volunteer, leadership, and Science Advisory Board member to stand, because it's because of ADAO's leadership that we're able to go around the world with a message of education, advocacy, and community. So I'd like to ask our Science Advisory Board, ADAO Board, as well as volunteers to all stand, please. Well, Jordan is getting geared up, or whatever the proper music phrase would be. He is going to perform an incredible set. He's got a slide guitar, some things up here that probably most of you have seen on MTV. But he's been working hard, and he's really jazzed about doing a 20-minute set. And then it's kind of cool. Barbie has agreed to have a conversation, a live conversation, where we kind of just get to float back and forth about her experiences, her life with Steve McQueen, but also what she's learned along the way. So I think that's going to be kind of a fun top-off to the evening. And for those coming tomorrow, we're going to light a candle at our Unity and Remembrance breakfast. It's not for sadness. It's actually a very inspiring and courageous closure that we have to the conference. So we light votive candles, but we really renew our strength. And our board member, Lori Rice, here today is going to be helping us along with the 5 candles. And don't be shy. If there's someone in your family that's a patient, this is not a gloomy thing. It's actually very invigorating. And Eric, you were there once before. It's a lovely way to close the conference. And for anybody staying on, I know that Carolyn Shining mentioned that she had a friend in Los Angeles. For our home friends, take a look at this. We're going to do a screening at USC, the University of Southern California. Yeah. And we're screening Niccolò's movie. Yes, that would be Niccolò. He's cooking spaghetti for us tomorrow. Niccolò made an amazing documentary that's actually been award-winning. It's entitled The Great Asbestos Trial. He started this movie about 6 years ago, maybe, before we actually had the amazing verdict. It was a landmark verdict in Turin, Italy, where the criminal court actually found 2 very, very wealthy criminals guilty. 16 years in prison and huge punitive damages. This time, money couldn't buy their freedom, and they were convicted. And this movie profiles the fight from Casale, which is absolutely amazing. So tomorrow kicks off a week of awareness. We have folks that are not in this room tonight, but have joined us virtually, so that through Facebook and tweeting and messages, I hope that you share how you're feeling or thinking tonight, so people who aren't in this room can experience, as you've heard from Debbie Brewer, our Facebook community is very strong, and they'd all love to hear from you. So without any further ado, enjoy your dinner, and Jordan will be performing soon, and then Barbie and I are going to have a conversation. The silent auction is lovely, and I owe great thanks to Ellen and Debbie Granow and Patty and Suzanne and other volunteers. So take a wander. This dinner is a wonderful way to show your support for ADAO by signing your name at the end of that. And not to mention, you get to take home a fabulous gift. There's a quilt that was just set up on my far right over there. You can see that's all hand done, and it's an image, a photograph of Steve McQueen made into a quilt, which is actually artistically beautiful, and some jewels and some travel. So make yourself at home, enjoy the evening, and thank you very much for sharing this tonight.
I met a gin soaked barroom queen in Memphis. She tried to take me upstairs for a ride. I ran a heart across her shoulder, 'cause I just can't seem to drink you off my mind. She's a honky-tonk woman. Give me the honky-tonk blues. I later divorcee in New York City. I had to put up some kind of fight. Covered me with roses. She blew my nose and then she blew my mind. She's a honky-tonk woman. Give me the honky-tonk blues. One more time. She's a honky-tonk woman. Woo! Give me the honky-tonk blues. honky-tonk blues. She's a honky-tonk woman. Give me the honky-tonk blues. She's a honky-tonk woman. Give me the honky-tonk
Hello. Hi, all. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hope you're enjoying your food. I'm very privileged to have some good friends with me on the stage. Tara Austin, Dylan Thomas, Rick Torres, Brad. I just want to call you Brad. Can I just call you Brad? But yeah, so I'm trying to have fun with this, and this has been a great experience for me to have these cats up with me on the stage. And so we proceed with tuning. May or may not. May or may not. This is a song that's going to be for my next record called Imperfect. Because we're all imperfect and we need to embrace that. Especially when you're talking on a microphone and nobody's listening. So let's go. I got no money, I got no friends, ain't got a thing on which my life depends. Ain't got no reasons, I got no rhymes, I just reside here behind the times. Got no agenda, got no regrets, what I'm through hasn't killed me yet. Ain't looking forward or stuck in reverse, I'll ride it out until I'm hailing the hearse. I'm gonna make it, but I may or may not. I'm gonna take it, but I may or may not. I may be mistaken that I may or may not. My time is coming, but I may or may or may or may not. Got no opinion, I got no cause. I'm running straight for the exit clause. Load up the cannon, in line. I'll come and get you after I get mine. Load up the caddy, load up the guns. I'm feeling stupid and that's always fun. No misdemeanors, I'm felony bound. Gonna tear up the town till it's all tore down. I'm gonna make it, but I may or may not. I gotta break it, but I may or may not. The time has come, but then I may or may not. Made no pretensions, but I may or may not. May or may not. Mom and Pa said it's no big thing. Write a dozen songs and get some cha-cha-ching. But what the forecast didn't foresee is writing seed doesn't make them give a fuck about me and the boggers in the basement under mommy's feet, trying to gauge my distance from the family tree. If you think it's easy being me, walk a mile and you might start to believe. Hot! Draw blood. I'm gonna make it, but I may or may not. The air apparently I may or may not. I'll go out gently, but I may or may not. Fulfill my destiny, I may or may not. Forget the pleasantries, I may or may not. Shake the disease, well I may or may not. It's gonna kill me, but it may or may not. For the finale, I may or may not, may or may not. Thank you very much. All right, we'll do something sweet and back. This is just me and Bill. I'm taking off my Steve McQueen tribute jacket with the bookshelf lining. That's right. You saw Barbie. I'm going to keep the scarf, though. I like the scarf. Hey, put your jacket on here. This is supposed to be This is a song that my father wrote. You need silence in the room? Well, good luck. Time marches on, time stands still, time on my hands, time to kill. Blood on my hands and my hands in the till, down at the 7-Eleven. Gentle rain falls on me, and all life folds back into the sea. We contemplate eternity beneath the vast indifference of heaven. The past seems realer than the present to me now. I've got memories to last me. When the sky is gray, the way it is today, I remember the times when I was happy. Same old sun, same old moon. It's the same old story with the same old tune. They all say someday soon my sins will all be forgiven. gentle rain falls on me, and all life flows back into the sea. We contemplate eternity beneath the vast indifference of heaven. They say everything's alright. They say better days are near. They say these are the good times, but they don't live around here. Jordan and Tia don't. Jack and Deanna don't. They don't live around here. I had a girl, she left town, now she's gone, and town burned down. Nothing left but the sound of the front door closing forever. Gentle rain falls on me, and all life flows back into the sea. We contemplate eternity beneath the vast indifference of heaven, beneath the vast indifference of heaven.
I guess jokes? I don't know. Or just do it home so I get the fuck off the stage and not. Yeah, all right. It's not like anybody's looking. Joke's on me.
Did you ever take a moment just to stop and look around and find you might have missed a meeting or two? All the smiling faces of the strangers that surround me, and I start to think I don't have a clue. Is it ignorance or bliss that fuels the never-ending happiness that I've always seemed to elude? Is it them, is it me? Yank the starter on the litany and try to keep from coming unglued. It looks like the joke's on me, 'cause I'm the only one that isn't really having fun. It looks like the joke's on me. I'm fading, waiting on a massive mug of coffee that I'm hoping will arouse me from a zombie-like state I've accrued. It's another somber morning, masturbate and greet the dawning as I'm yawning through the self-abuse. Pick a suit that isn't stained, floor it down the freeway. I must not be late, 'cause the boss is out of Vicodin, but now the real pain begins. So why is she laughing? 'Cause it looks like the joke's on me, 'cause I'm the only one that isn't really having fun. It looks like the joke's on me. I signed the dotted line to be the perfect punchline, and nobody told me that I'd be the folly when it looks like the joke's on me. The agony of defeat with a catchy melody. Standing dead on my feet, maybe someone should bury me. A natural born loser, smothered in humor, but it looks like the joke's on me. Stumbling down the road of life, ignoring all the good advice I never had the sense to use. And we've all got a path to choose, but stupid is and stupid do's, and maybe I was born to amuse. It looks like the joke's on me, 'cause I'm the only one that isn't really having fun. It looks like the joke's on me. You check my spine, you find a burden and a kick me sign. It looks like the joke's on me. Forget humility and I'll provide the comedy. It looks like the joke's on me. I'm just a bland mime yanking on a fake line. And I'll keep on pulling, but who am I fooling? It looks like the joke's on me. Thank you very much.
That was trial by fire.
All right. One more than we get to eat. Thank you very much, everybody. This is the last song we're going to play. This is a song that a record label who will go unmentioned asked me to write a love song for my father, and I did. And luckily, I didn't put it on their record. I put it on my record, and it's a song called "Home" that that people seem to enjoy. So I perform it for you now. I woke up this morning like any other morning, and I thought of you, staring at the ceiling, aware but disbelieving. The feelings remind me it's true. I know you'll never be here, but I know where to find you. In my home, I'm never lonely at all. Home is more than the memories hung on the wall. And home to me is intimate and primitive, as long as I have life to live. My heart will be your home. Some days the pain of wishing makes me wish I could complain to you, but I know that you'd say you think you've had a hard day, you haven't got a clue. Then get that look on your face that puts me back in my place, and that's the best you can do. In my home, I'm never lonely at all. Home is more than the memories hung on the wall. And home to me is intimate and primitive, as long as I have life to live. My heart will be your home. I can say, there's nothing I can do but keep you in this space that I can never lose. We'll never be apart. will never be alone. My heart will be your home. As I have life to live, my heart will be your home. Thank you.
Want to do it now?
Lawyers? Yeah, I don't know. This would be me sitting here going, yeah, awesome.
Sometimes it's fun to do it 3 times. All right.
I wish I knew this one. Sorry.
Not yet, baby, not yet. 1, 2, 3.
I went home with the waitress, the way I always do. How was I to know she was with the Russians too? Hot! I was gambling in Havana, Cuba. I took a little risk. Lawyers, guns, and money did get me out of this. Hot! I'm the innocent bystander, and somehow I got stuck between a rock and a hard place, and I'm down on my luck. Well, I'm down on my luck. Well, I'm down on my luck. I'm a desperate man. Send lawyers, guns, and money the shit has hit the fan. I'm the innocent bystander, and somehow I got stuck between a rock and a hard place, and I'm down on my luck. Yeah, I'm down on my luck. Well, I'm down on my luck. And lawyers, guns, and money. Ooh. Send lawyers, guns, and money. Ugh. And money. Thank you.
Okay, we are going to show an amazing short clip that we made in honor of Steve McQueen. So is that ready to go? Yes? Okay, so we're going to have a clip of a video that dedicates, there's a lot of chatter. Okay, so we're going to show a video. We'd like to have your attention, and then we're going to have a conversation with Barbie, and then we're going to break for the night. So if you're having a conversation in this room, could you take it outside? Is that all right? Because we're going to point.
The idea of this award going to Steve McQueen is amazing because my father was a big fan of tough guys, you know. He really, he loved the Steve McQueens, the John Waynes and those type of guys, and it just makes a lot of sense that we're going to celebrate Steve McQueen. And at the same time, it's part of what makes this difficult for us because we're celebrating a tough guy who died from this disease that even takes the tough guys away from us.
I think he would think that's wonderful. I mean, he could use his death, his celebrity, for something to help people open their eyes. You know, I'm Steve McQueen, I died of asbestos. Your grandfather died from asbestos. Thousands of people are dying from asbestos. It just takes somebody whose name maybe they can put two and two together and realize that we should get this out of our world. And I think he'd be very proud to be part of it.
I want to make a great escape and I can fight. I want to speed just like a bullet to your side. I want to be the coolest man you've ever seen. I just want to be your Steve McQueen.
I was told that I was going to, my agent called me, I was in Idaho, and I was told I was going to meet Steve McQueen for a part in a movie. I don't act, so it was a little suspicious. She said, come down and do it anyway, you'll have fun in Los Angeles. So I said, who is Steve McQueen? Well, just, you know, because I don't watch movies, just remind me which one he is or who he is. And, I mean, I grew up on a dairy farm, I don't know these kind of things. I can tell you about Holsteins. So she said, have you seen Towering Inferno? And I said, yes. The man with the beautiful blue eyes. And so I thought, cool, Paul Newman. So I went to meet him, and we got to the Beverly Wilshire Hotel, the El Padrino room, and we waited for 20 minutes. And finally this guy walks up to our table with this scraggly beard and this long hair and sits down, and I'm like, okay, you know, what is this? And that was Steve McQueen. We left, and I just remember looking at Nina saying, oh my God, Nina, I love that man. I'm gonna marry him someday. And you know, I was young, and she goes, you didn't even talk to him. I said, I know, but I just know that's my man. That is my man. See, I always laugh when people say cool. He's the king of cool. Because, you know, I see the guy in his silly clothes, or he comes home with a perm, and he's listening to the Bee Gees, and I'm like, oh, God. I can see, I think, why people liked him so much, because he was real. There was nothing fake about him. You know, whatever he told you, that was the truth, and he was willing to fight for it. That was the way it was. He ran away with some girl when he was in the Navy for a while, for a week. And when he got caught and brought back, they put him in the brig and they made him scrape the inside of a ship or a submarine or something. So he was doing that for a while, and the asbestos was flying. So that's what they think they got it, where he got the asbestos. And his last movie, The Hunter, you know, his breathing wasn't quite right, and he wasn't the same Steve that I knew, and he was kind of running down, but he wasn't old enough to be running down. And so I made him go to the doctor. And that was in our little town of Santa Paula. And the doctor made him go to Los Angeles, to Cedars, to get proper x-rays. But between the two times, because he put it off a day, he took off on his bike. And finally, after a couple hours, I found him. I knew where he went. And he was sitting down. And I've never told anybody this, I don't think. It was up in the park in Santa Paula, and he was sitting on a picnic table. And he says, honey, there's something really, really wrong with me, and I know it. And that's the first time that I knew something was really wrong, because it came out of his mouth and he admitted it, because he had desert fever or some other something he was thinking this whole time. And he wasn't the healthy Steve that I met. I remember Steve saying, what do you want to do? Do you want to try to fight it, or do you want to just go play until it ends? And we tried to fight it. You have to have hope, you have to have faith that maybe something can fix you or make you feel better, but he thought it would right till the very end. I mean, the asbestos is causing it. Why do we still have it? Why is it still being brought into the country? Why aren't we taking it out of schools? And this is now, this is, you know, our days, our time. I really wish he could see the woman that I've grown up to be, because I'm older than he was when he died, and I've had my fun like he had his fun, but I wish he'd seen how much influence he had on me, just to make me, I try to be honest, I try to be straightforward, as he say, hold your mud. I learned a lot from him. I miss him every single, I'm gonna start bawling. Every single day, because he was my pal. You know, look at me, I haven't cried, oh God, I haven't cried for a long, long time over this. But he was my buddy, and you can't find friends like that. And I never have.
Heart for a while.
Barbie allowed me to write an educational page for her book that when it's republished in this next month, ADAO will be included, as well as asbestos awareness, and ADAO will be mentioned thanks to Barbara McQueen. Jordan, yeah, I think it's on.
Is it on? Oh, yep. No, yeah, because the book will have about 2 pages in the back of it that's brand new. That'll be about asbestos, mesothelioma, for people, for caregivers, just to help give you a little guidance of places to go, things you can do. And, you know, I have a web page. You want to talk? I'm there. You know, we can talk about it.
I think that's what comes across very sincerely, is that you're there. So Can we step back in time? And if any question I
Yes,
ask...
please, can we step back in time?
I'm looking at 21 and feeling really good.
Ooh, darling.
If I ask any questions you feel uncomfortable, you can go, next. Deal?
We know each other well enough.
Yeah, we do. We're like sisters. Okay. So I think for most of the people here tonight, they want to know about you. You were a young, gorgeous, still are. You started your career as a model. So tell us a little bit about how you became you.
How did I become me?
In the early 20s.
In my early 20s, well, I mean, you make fun of my Holsteins.
I didn't know what they were.
A long story short, I moved from a wonderful, beautiful family on a dairy farm to New York City to try my hand at modeling. I did very well. I don't act. I mean, all I wanted to do was work very hard, get a house in the mountains, get some property, and I got a phone call, like the other thing said about, do you want to come to Hollywood and meet Steve McQueen? And who I thought was Paul Newman, and I, whoopsie.
Close it close your mouth, because they can't hear you.
Does it bite? Anyway, to meet Steve McQueen, who I thought would be Paul Newman, and I thought it would be a nice trip. And the gentleman kept us waiting and waiting, and pretty soon out walked this scruffy little guy with a plaid shirt on and kind of scratched himself and sat down and talked, and I didn't say a word for probably the whole hour. And he had his 2 beers on ice, and he and Nina, my agent, who are the same age, talked forever. And honest to God, I absolutely fell in love. I don't know if it was love or what it was, but I couldn't, this person, that was it. I was done, completely done. And like I said, I've never found anybody that's like that. And I don't see his movies, I don't watch his movies. I've seen The Blob and Towering Inferno. And now I can't watch any of them because it really hurts my feelings. So I don't know what he does. If he was a plumber, that would have been great. I could have learned to fix toilets and things like that. But he was an actor. He was worthless, you know. I couldn't learn anything from him. But there's a guy that you want to go flying with. You want to go ride in your old pickup truck and pick up junk on the side of the road and, you know, drink beer and go to Montana. And I miss him.
Yeah, I know you do.
And this is so good. Now you got me yapping.
No questions, Alec.
No, but this is so good because I think he would have liked this. That people we didn't know what it was. He did, the doctors just, what I remember, because it seems to be so long ago. Whoop, hey, no more Chardonnay for you.
No, I took my feet up, they hurt.
But the doctors basically wrote us off. They said, well, you've got 6 to 8 months to live and, you know, have a nice life.
That's kind of the common thing that most of us in this audience have heard, 6 to 12 months. So you married your best friend, lucky you.
I was very, very lucky.
And then you had to think about 6 to 12 months. So do you live life fast, or do you slow down? Do you go for treatment? And you talked about what Steve's decision was. So making that, getting a diagnosis, and then acting on a treatment plan, do you feel like sharing what that was like or what you did?
Well, I can look back on it now because it's been a long time. What we did was not the right treatment, but it was what we thought was the right thing at the time. At that time, I think it's a waste of money, and it was horrible on him. It was tough. I wish well, sorry folks, but I wish we would have gone to the desert and I would have bought him strippers and dancing girls and fast cars and, you know, let him eat chocolate.
George, why don't you sign up for that program?
You stay healthy. But, you know, it was just, you know, we were both young. And he was just 50. And he wasn't ready to go at all. And he handled it with dignity and grace. And, you know, he just slipped away.
Well, he didn't exactly slip away, because you have some amazing photographs. And for those of you, and I'm not like pimping the book, but the book
this is not a book signing.
No, but the book is beautiful. And I'll be honest, we're close to the same age. So Steve McQueen to my mom is like, oh my God. And we have 2 of Steve McQueen's best friends here. And
Pat and Susie Johnson.
Yeah, that's right. But that name, Steve McQueen, everyone knows, whether you're young or you're old, he's a legend and always remembered. I remembered hearing Steve McQueen was taking Laetrile in Mexico, and I think I was probably in my 20s at the time, and I thought, A, what's Laetrile and why Steve McQueen?
I don't think he was doing Laetrile.
Something in Mexico.
It was a Dr. Kelly program. I'm not sure what it was. It was, well, I'm in public, I can't say.
Well, I think
those are my thoughts.
Yeah, but that shows not desperate measures, but measures where we might go outside of our comfort zone in searching for a cure.
Well, it was 30 years ago, nobody knew anything, and like I said, the finest doctors in the world told this famous man, actor who everybody supposedly loves and adores, bye-bye, it's over, it's done, you're gone, you've got so many, I mean, that's the same thing they would tell to a tunnel worker, somebody scraping ships still, and that they still do, I'm sure. It's time to be taken care of.
Well, and for those of you who may not know Barbie's story, she cared 150% for Steve, and by herself, and I believe you were 26 or 27?
And, well, we had, you know, 2 nurses.
Right, but you were, family-wise...
It was a family effort.
But you were young.
Very young. Maybe it saved me.
Maybe. But the resiliency that I see in you and in your book and in your spirit is very strong. So I think a voice of reason and looking back, the photographs that you have in this book are really fun. And most of them you actually took?
The majority.
So you probably have a favorite photo, yeah?
I've got a couple favorite photos. I think my favorite one is when he had his cup of coffee and he was in his t-shirt and his baggy sweats, and it was early in the morning, and he was spraying off the tarmac in front of the hangar. Because he loved it up there. It was wonderful. That was his space, his time, and he was like king of his hangar.
I like that. So now that you know even more than you want to know, Barbie's brought into the ADAO family, and I know that you're here to stay.
Yes.
I mean, I know you can leave any time. There's no handcuffs, except in Jordan's pocket. But
that was last night.
Yeah, I know. Love you, Jordan. We coined ourselves the Bad Widow Bitches. Sorry. So this is Bad Widow Bitch 1, and I'm Bad Widow Bitch 2. But the funny thing is Jill in the audience, who you haven't met, said, I want in too. So there's a group of people here tonight who have experienced loss and pain, anger. And looking back, Steve died almost 30 years ago, 32 years ago. So words of wisdom from you looking back. And that's a broad question, but if you were thinking about a diagnosis, when you're diagnosed, looking back, would you do anything differently, or would you do it the same?
You know, it's not fair to say what I would do differently, because first of all, you don't tell somebody what, you know, they're going to tell you how they want to handle their life, which they should. But looking back, I wish we would have gone to the desert, and I wish he would have lived his life, you know, because you think you have more time, and sometimes you do. But I just wish he would have been able to play and be joyful and experience and not have to go through such suffering, such pain.
So I'm thinking that you're going to Washington one time soon.
We're going to kick some Washington ass.
Do we get the Hollisters or the Hallsters, or what are we taking?
I didn't say that.
I know, that's me. So if you had Barack Obama right in front of you, maybe it's like kind of like Doug. What? Be nice? Oh, Jesus.
Be nice?
He didn't really say that, did he?
To us?
Okay. So if you had Barack Obama sitting in front of you, what would you want to tell the President of the United States?
I would tell him it's like making an airline reservation. If you don't get your plane ticket and you have to pay the $75 extra to rebook your ticket, all the person has to do is do this. Do you want to get asbestos out of America? All he has to do is this. How hard is it? It can't be that bad. Ooh. It's so simple. It's so simple, I would think.
It seems so simple. Okay, so let's think simple. You're on your ranch, and the sun's come up, and you're looking at the fence, and you have your coffee. Favorite ranch memory would be?
Of Steve? He was just goofy. I don't know, it just...
Tell me Goofy. What's Goofy look like to you?
You know what, people, they have this preconceived notion of him, and he was just a goofy guy. He was just a regular person doing silly things. And that's what I remember. Because everybody always is so sweet and kind to me, and they say these beautiful things about him. And I just remember this, just a guy, just a regular old guy doing silly things.
Sweet memories indeed. Okay, so let's flash forward. You've met Emily and Jordan, and we're 3 years out. What's it look like to you with ADAO and asbestos and you? Do you have a vision?
I'm hanging on.
Great.
I'm with you all the way.
So I think it's pretty incredible that a woman who didn't have to come out of a cave, not that you were ever in a cave, but that you didn't have to come to this arena for this fight. And you did, and you put on your boxing gloves. You did.
Well, this is only round one, and you know what? I really didn't know that much about it until I met you. I knew my basics, but I didn't know to be really angry and that I really could have a voice and that I could really speak out and do something to help you. So, you know, I'm the young'un. Put a saddle on my back and get me out there and teach me how to go. I don't know what to do, but I'm there for you.
Well, I don't think I have to teach you anything. I think that you have all the knowledge, wisdom, insight, and courage inside you, and I think you've helped all of us this weekend. And tomorrow at brunch, when we casually get together, I think that, for me, I see you don't have to do this. You really don't. You can stay in Idaho now, and you can watch the sunrise. But you recognize your voice is very powerful, like the stories of many people here in this audience. And sharing our stories is huge, but sharing your story and Warren Zevon's story is really enormous. So I want to thank you on behalf of everyone here. I'm looking at the clock thinking it's 5 of 9. Do you want to take questions?
I'll be glad to answer anybody's question if they have.
Let's take 2, and then we'll take it up tomorrow. How would that be? So does anybody in the audience have a question for Barbara?
Okay, good night.
Oh, Jackie's waving. Jackie's waving over there. She wants to milk a cow. Okay.
A Holstein.
A Holstein.
All right. I just wondered how long from the time Steve was diagnosed until he passed away?
I believe it was about Pat, I'm going to ask you again. I'm passing it to you. 6 or 7 months, wasn't it? 7 to 8 months? Okay. It was quite fast. And we just, you know, we tried a few different things and just, I mean, most people in here know the story because it happened in their lives too.
Those are hard questions to answer. Thank you, Barbie. We have one more question for the night, and then we're going to call it a wrap and close the silent auction. But most importantly, thank each of you for coming. And if you think your voice can't be heard, then we're going to hit rewind and we're going to do this conference again. Because for everyone in this audience, whether you've been affected by asbestos or you're new to this circle, we need you and your voice, don't we?
I think you've done an incredible job. And
oh, it's we.
Well, we, everybody, but you put it all together and you're still awake.
All right, so that's a big thank you to Barbara. Wait, somebody's
One more.
waving. Oh, one more.
I don't have a question, but just a comment. My wife and I would like to thank you about the idea about the strippers and the desert and all that.
You've got
Thanks,
a deal.
John.
Wait. John, you don't get to say that until you stand up, introduce yourself, and say why you said that and who you are. No, seriously.
Actually, you should get up and tell your story a little bit because it's a great.
Yeah.
It's. Stand up and talk. Be heard.
You are.
I just like the idea. I mean,
No.
You gotta tell him more. Johnny. Johnny?
He's the tunnel man.
Okay, of course he is. So John Thayer, over on the far right side, actually worked for the architect of the Capitol. And for those of you who are figuring out the loops in the legislative branches and who does what, is Johnny and 9 other men, they heated and cooled the Capitol for our senators and House members. And what we don't know for most of us here is there's so much asbestos under the infrastructure of the Capitol that it was thick enough that John could write his name. John protected his workers. He came public with the story, and they were immediately removed from the tunnels, and they lost their jobs. What they got was a whistleblower lawsuit and no medical insurance. So, yeah, it's a big old wow. So Johnny represents a strong man that the system didn't fare well, but no one's giving up on the system yet. We're still going back at it. Now you have Barbie on your side.
He has a great story. That's a great story.
To say something about his story, because that would be huge.
It's huge.
What about Johnny's story?
It should be illegal. I mean, it is illegal, but you know what I mean? It's all these stories that I'm hearing, because I'm so new, my mind is finally opening up to it. I'm just so amazed and just blown away by, it's just all so wrong.
So there's a Martin Luther King quote, and I'm probably not going to get it right from memory, but there's always time. Freddie probably knows this. What is the quote, Freddie? There's always time to do the right thing. And it's basically, we can go back, and we can't get Steve back, we can't get Warren or Alan or Bill, but we can begin to do the right thing. And I think starting fresh is what we've done today. And I can't thank you enough for bringing your heart, your soul, your mind, and your love to our family.
Thank
you. Anything? Eat cookies, good night.
I don't know what to say. Thank you very much. No, put the chocolates on the pillow.
Put the chocolates on the pillow.
Thank you, everybody. This has been really an eye-opening experience for me. I didn't know most everything that has been going on here is new to me, and I'm going to do the best I can to help you out. I'm just one small person in this huge group, and together, hopefully, we can all do it, get her done.
We're getting it done. So thank you all.
Night.
Keep up the good work. I look forward to the day when ADAO is no longer needed.
Fix it. Fix it. Everything in the world can be fixed.